There's a kind of person you've probably met. Maybe you are that person. They don't ask for help. When things fall apart, they go quiet. They figure it out. They handle it. And then later, you find out what they were carrying, and you're stunned because they carried it completely alone. They say, "I'm fine," the way other people breathe, automatically, without thinking. This is the person who learned that needing other people wasn't safe, that depending on someone, really depending on them, led to one thing: disappointment. So they stopped. They became self-sufficient, capable, reliable, the one others lean on. From the outside, it looks like strength, but from the inside, it's something else entirely. It's a cage built out of survival. And today, we're going to talk about how it gets built, what it costs, and why, even when life gets better, some people can't seem to let themselves need anyone at all.
Most people think independence is straightforward. You become capable. You stop relying on others for things you can handle alone. That's healthy independence. Hyper-independence is different. It's not just capability, it's compulsion. It's the inability to ask for help even when you need it, even when the people around you are willing and right there. There's a difference between choosing not to need help and being unable to accept it, between being self-sufficient and being unreachable. Hyper-independence isn't a personality type. It's an adaptation, a coping strategy that worked once, that maybe saved you, and then never got updated. It was built for a specific environment, and when that environment changed, the strategy stayed. The nervous system kept running the old program. Don't need anyone. Handle it yourself. Trust no one but you.
The kind of childhood that tends to produce hyper-independent adults isn't always obviously traumatic. Often it's quieter than that. It's the childhood where emotional needs went unmet, not through cruelty, but through absence, inconsistency. Caregivers who were there physically but not really there. Maybe your feelings were minimized, met with "you're fine," or "stop crying," or "I have enough to deal with." You learned that your emotional world was an inconvenience. Maybe there was unpredictability, a parent who was warm sometimes and withdrawn others. That inconsistency is deeply disorienting for a child, because children need to be able to predict the people who care for them. When that breaks down, the child's nervous system registers a specific threat. I cannot count on the people I depend on. So they adapt. They stop bringing their problems. They stop crying where others can see. They become, for their age, extraordinarily self-contained. And the adults around them often praise this. She's so mature. He never complains. What they're watching is a child suppressing their needs to stay emotionally safe. But it looks like competence, so it gets reinforced. And the child learns, this is how I survive.
At the core of hyper-independence is a belief, usually formed before conscious memory, that goes something like, if I need people, I will be let down. If I show vulnerability, it will be ignored or used against me. So the safest thing I can do is need nothing from anyone. This doesn't feel like a belief, it feels like wisdom, like knowing how the world works. And in some ways, it was accurate, once. The problem is that it doesn't update when the environment changes. You grow up, you meet different people, and the belief still whispers, don't count on it, handle it yourself. So the hyper-independent adult moves through relationships with an invisible wall. They're present, often deeply caring, but there's a layer no one gets through. They'll give generously. They won't receive. They'll show up for others in crisis. They won't call anyone when they're in one. They'll be the first to offer help, the last to ask for it.
What it costs. Hyper-independence has a price. It just takes a while to arrive. In the short term, it works. You become capable. You don't get badly hurt by people letting you down because you never gave them the chance. But over time, it costs you intimacy. Real closeness requires mutual vulnerability, letting someone see you when you're not okay. If you can never do that, you're always on the giving side of every relationship and never truly in one. It costs you your body, too. Never offloading stress, never letting anyone in, that's a physical load. Fatigue, tension, burnout that comes out of nowhere. And it costs you your sense of self. When you've spent decades managing your emotional world alone, you can lose track of what you actually feel. After long enough, you can sit with a quiet, persistent loneliness and not even be able to name it, because naming it would mean admitting you need something, and that's the one thing the system was built to prevent.
The way forward, recognizing this in yourself is not a diagnosis. It's not a verdict. It's the beginning of something. Hyperindependence isn't permanent. The nervous system can be updated. New experiences of being truly seen, truly met, and surviving it slowly rewrite the old belief. This doesn't happen through deciding to be different. What actually changes things is tolerating small moments of vulnerability and discovering that the feared outcome doesn't arrive. Asking for something small and having it given. Saying, "I'm not okay," and not being left. Each of those moments is a data point, and over time, the data accumulates. The nervous system slowly starts to revise its model.
The adult who learned not to need anyone needs to hear something they may never have been told clearly. You were not too much. You learned to contain yourself because the space you were given wasn't big enough for all of you. That was their limitation, not yours. The independence you built was real. The strength was real. But you don't have to keep paying for someone else's absence with your own isolation. You are allowed to need people. Not because you're weak. You've proven you can handle things alone. But needing people isn't the same as needing them to save you. It's just being human, in the world with others, honestly, without the performance of invulnerability. That, too, is something you can learn, even now.
If this hit home, share it with someone, because a lot of people call it independence when it's actually an old wound. Subscribe to Elevate Psychology. I'll see you in the next one.